Order! Order! You are an incorrigible delinquent at times. Behave yourself, man!
Well, one of the other controversial features of the presidential campaign was the influence of fake news stories. Headlines like, "The Pope endorses Donald Trump for president," and "The NYPD announces they are arresting Hillary Clinton on paedophilia and treason charges," repeatedly cropping up on Facebook and other social media sites. Tonight, Channel 4 News can reveal that a cottage industry producing such stories has sprung up in an unexpected location. But who is behind them? What are their motives? Kieran Jenkins has this exclusive report.
In a US election like no other, made-up news took centre stage. Donald Trump triumphed with some extraordinary claims.
Our enemies may have a blackmail file on Crooked Hillary.
Completely false stories went mainstream. Americans didn't know who to believe.
There's so much active misinformation, and it's packaged very well, and it looks the same when you see it on a Facebook page or you turn on your television.
Democracy itself, in the most powerful nation on earth, may have been undermined by fake news.
Elect of the United States of America, Donald Trump.
You should probably know where much of it comes from. The answer is Veles, a small town in central Macedonia. How popular is it?
Well, pretty much. About 200 people, maybe.
200 people?
Yeah.
And making fake news websites?
Yes.
They used to rely on heavy industry in Veles. Now they manufacture misinformation.
First lady is actually the first man. What? That's so stupid though.
To this unlikely place, we've traced over 100 websites bombarding US voters with fake news. For Macedonian millennials, it's a digital gold rush. How much money do they make?
Yeah, there are some people who make like 200K or something like that.
200,000 euros?
Yeah.
You're kidding?
Yeah, no, I'm not joking. It's true.
The sites have names like USA Newsflash or USA Online Politics. Some falsely report that Hillary Clinton is a paedophile, that she sold arms to ISIS. Americans who've fallen for these stories may find what follows pretty sobering. This is Philip Malazanov, 17 years old. So you run a fake news website?
No.
Yes, you do. And this is his slick-looking news service. He told his 10,000 mainly American followers that Hillary Clinton was facing FBI charges. We have your website address. It's registered in your name. Can you just tell me why you do it? Why don't you want to talk about it? Why not?
I don't have a
What have you got to hide? Now the rest of the world may be scratching their heads, but here they tell you there's really quite a simple explanation. They already knew how to make money from websites here. They already knew how to attract American Facebook audiences. The difference, the game changer, they tell you, was Donald J. Trump. The Donald is something of a hero in Veles. Donald Trump, do you like him?
Donald Trump is a
Da.
Hillary Clinton? Hillary?
Hillary Clinton?
Ne.
His army of supporters can't seem to get enough of the local speciality. On Facebook, Veles-based portals are listed as news companies. This one has over 600,000 followers. As users click onto their site and into an advert, the money rolls in. So who are these fake news masterminds exactly? In a quiet residential street, enter Victor. Are you Victor?
No.
No? What's your name?
Steven.
Stephen. Real news has caught up with him. So let's go again. What's your name?
Victor.
Victor. Oh, it is Victor. We've felt very lucky to meet the editor of 24 Total News today.
Срекнеш ме, защото те запознахме тук на улица случайно.
И мене ми е мило.
Да. He is glad also.
Victor is 16. This is his news website. He says that people like his stories about Donald Trump. Donald Trump is good for you. Because you can make some money.
Yes.
They are thirsty for the articles. That's all I have to say about them. They want to hear news about Donald Trump.
Just tell me, why are you doing this? What's in it for you?
For money, for recreation. I don't know how to put this. There isn't much to do around here. A lot of kids don't go out. We're doing this out of boredom.
This story is wrong. It's on your website. You are sharing it so that Americans can see this and they might believe it. Do you feel responsible for that?
Дали се чувстваш отговорен за то, що на твоя вебсайт откривме сега дека има лажна информация?
Do you feel bad?
Да. Да.
Do you feel bad?
Yes.
So what happens next?
Що ќе се случи?
Ще го избрижам постът.
He'll delete the post.
Will you carry on with the website?
Дали ќе продолжиш со веб-порталот?
Да.
Yes.
Facebook's founder said they take misinformation seriously. He promised stronger detection of fake news and to make reporting it easier, as well as making it harder for fake news sites to make money. Do you think it's true or false?
True.
True?
True.
False?
No. No, false.
False?
No.
The Pope doesn't support Donald Trump. And in Veles, business is still booming, not least for the savvy young minds at the town's computer science faculty, where the truth takes some teasing out. Would you be tempted to do this?
No.
No?
No.
Why not?
I don't understand. I don't know how to work with sites.
No?
No.
What do you study?
I studied. I don't know.
You don't know what you study?
No.
Do you know anyone who makes a website like this?
No.
A little smile.
I don't know, really.
Now, those young men you've just seen have now gone into their computer science lecture. Off camera, each one of them admitted that yes, they do run a fake news website. Claims of Russian involvement here seem far-fetched. If they aren't at it, though, they might be soon. Fakery, dreamt up in Macedonia, has shown US democracy to be vulnerable. Nothing is as it seems anymore, and in this town, they call that a job well done.
Kieran Jenkins in Macedonia. So did fake news made in Macedonia make a difference in the US election? Well, Jackie Long has been out in Washington, D.C. testing voters with some of the fake news stories that were circulating during the campaign and asking what impact they had.
4 journalists with the inside track on the campaign trail.
Got breaking news coming out of California.
This is news, old school. Donald Trump blasted them and newspapers as liars, misinforming the public. So many people now turning to social media instead in their search for news.
I wasn't born in the United States of America. I come from Kenya.
A pretty crude online version of Trump's birther theory that ran for many months in the campaign, liked by many of his supporters, including Stephen Wagner from Delaware.
I believe that that video was mocked up and was dubbed and everything else and was created to say something that we'd all like to hear him admit. Okay, so the video, I believe, was fabricated. But if Barack Obama were to ever tell the truth, that would be the video.
Mr. Wagner liked or shared some of the stories our programme discovered had been made in Macedonia, including the one claiming Michelle Obama is a man.
You're saying that you don't mind that these fake stories are being created?
Our own news media is creating fake stories, so I don't have to worry about Macedonia. We have CNN.
There's real-life fallout from some fake news. This Washington pizza restaurant was wrongly targeted online as the centre of a paedophile ring supposedly involving Hillary Clinton. Locals here consider themselves politically astute, but were they ever caught out?
As somebody who's, younger and on social media and who has been on social media for a really, really long time, you kind of start to recognize what to filter out, what is true and what is not true based off of who is posting it.
Just going to test you on this one.
Okay, great.
Is this true or do you think it's false?
I would say no, that's not true.
You don't think he said it?
Do I think he said something very similar? Yes. Do I think that it was published in People magazine in 1998? You really can't tell anymore.
Fake news was an occupational hazard for Alida Black, who campaigned for Hillary Clinton for 4 years.
Did you ever get tricked yourself?
Oh, I fell for a couple of them. And a friend of mine came back and said, whoa, Alida, this is fake. You know, so I had to go back and redo all my postings and tell everybody, don't read it, it's fake news.
Is it real or fake? Did he say it?
He said it before, but not in that string. So I'm saying it's a bunch of stuff run together.
But can you see how a lot of people, Democrats, pass that round?
Oh, in a heartbeat. In a heartbeat.
So fake news may be real, but the real question is how potent a weapon it was in this most contested of elections.
Jackie Long reporting from Washington. Well, joining us now in the studio is Ella Whelan, assistant editor at Spiked Online, who doesn't want to see news regulated by social media host sites, whilst Claire Wardle, an academic at Tao Centre for Data Journalism, dedicates her research to verifying sources and understanding the algorithms that make the spread of fake news possible. So, do you actually think that this stuff should be clamped down upon?
I don't think it should be clamped down upon in the form of regulation. I think there are ways that Facebook and Google can algorithmically come up with credibility indexes. So with Google, we might have 37 pages. The things on page 1 have been ordered in a way that they are more trustworthy because more people link to them. So in the same way as Facebook, Macedonian teenager websites, algorithmically, we should be able to say, we're not going to turn them off, but they shouldn't rank as highly. There should be a way that it can be automatically done.
Ellie, what's your solution?
I think that we shouldn't have any regulation or any kind of messing around with what gets put out to the public. I think that my belief is that the public decide for themselves what they think is true and not, and I don't think that everybody was swayed by kind of ridiculous websites cooked up in Macedonia.
To what extent do you think that the conventional media plays a role in bringing fake news about?
I think it's massively failed in that it's disjoint from what the people on the street are thinking and talking about. There is a sense of the media, especially in the US and the UK, is in a kind of Westminster and Washington bubble and hold much of the public in contempt. So I'm not surprised that people are finding news in other places.
Do you actually think that in some way the social network has outrun the conventional media and the conventional media is in trouble?
So what's happened is we've kind of seen the end of gatekeeping. So previously I would buy a newspaper from a newsstand and I knew what I was buying. I would tune in at 7 p.m. and I knew what I was watching. Now, as I get more of my news from the social networks, I can't tell the difference between a post that's come from a news site that's a credible site and something that's been built on a basic blogging site. So the problem is without gatekeeping, these fake websites are designed to look like credible sites. They have the same looking design, they have the same images, the same sensationalist headlines, and that's what's difficult for consumers. How do you tell the difference when not everybody has a gatekeeper like you, John?
Oh, steady. But I mean, one of the things which I think I found very surprising about Macedonia, let alone the fact that it was Macedonia, was the fact that somebody was paying to advertise on it. I mean, and that was how their income was generated. That seems absurd.
Yeah, it does seem absurd. I mean, there's a certain element of me that thinks fair play to these guys that have managed to do something like that. I think that the basis of good journalism should be the pursuit of truth, but we get into a very different territory when we ask for a gatekeeper or somebody to define what that truth is, and that worries me.
And then what about Brexit? Do you think the same game was in play?
I think the news ecosystem has changed fundamentally in the last couple of years, and I think there was a role simply in terms of people seeking information and struggling to know who to trust. But Ella's right, that we're on a whole spectrum here of a very big grey middle, and what we just saw there was a very obvious, absolutely 100% false. The worrying part is this grey middle that everybody's now saying, how do we control this? And we shouldn't be thinking about doing that.
But we're really in a sort of terrible place of multi-mirrored corridors. I mean, in a post-truth world, how will we ever establish truth?
I certainly don't think we live in a post-truth world.
You don't?
No, I don't. I don't think that people who voted Trump, the millions of people that did it on the basis of fake news stories, I don't think they did it on the basis of being misled. The same with Brexit. I think people voted for the reasons that they did, and it wasn't purely because the media had fed them a certain way. I think that's a very low view of people. And the thing about this is that we have press freedom, and we should have freedom of speech simply because we allow the public to decide what they think is truth and what they think is lies. There's, knowledge is in the crowd.
So perhaps freedom of speech is more precious than the truth?
I think so.
We are going to go through some very interesting times, and I think this element of how do we ensure that we're giving people the skills and the tools to know how to check what they're reading. And I think we just assume, particularly younger people, know how to do this automatically, and there's a lot that we could be teaching people.
Claire Wharton, Ellie Whelan, thank you both very much for coming in.
I've been getting